Your government has been actively involved in the war against terror in the year 2011 under the Bush administration. Since then, Mr. High Commissioner, there has been many human rights violations in countries like Afghanistan and even Iraq, for that matter. Have these cases been investigated?
Yes, we take allegations of wrongdoing by our armed forces very seriously. The UK fully accepts the jurisdiction of the International Criminal Court, but we also have clear domestic procedures in this area. So just towards the end of last year, for example, a British soldier was tried and found guilty of murder for acts that soldier had carried out in Afghanistan. He was held to account for his actions. It's where there is a lack of domestic process to address alleged wrongdoing that international procedures come into play.
The Universal Periodic Review, Mr. High Commissioner, only examines issues in a particular country. They do not take into account invasions by one country to another. It does not have a mandate to examine issues between two countries, Mr. High Commissioner, like the situation in Afghanistan and even Iraq. Britain has not been tried at the United Nations Human Rights Council on allegations of war crimes, crimes against humanity, and even human rights violations.
I think there are three reasons for that. First of all, I do not believe there is any concerted action to violate human rights or humanitarian law by our forces. Secondly, we have credible domestic procedures to address these issues. But thirdly, the United Kingdom is subject to the Universal Periodic Review like any other country, and questions can be posed to us in Geneva, and we do our best to answer them fairly and frankly.
Let's get back to Sri Lanka, Mr. High Commissioner, now. Will Britain support a decision to impose sanctions on Sri Lanka?
Nobody, as far as I'm aware, amongst the international community has raised the issues of sanctions. That's not what the current debate is about.
Let's say the country does not heed the third resolution sponsored by the United States and which will be backed by Britain and Canada. What would be the next course of action?
Well, this issue isn't going to go away, and the next course of action, should a domestic procedure not be established, will, we hope, be an international investigation into these issues. That international investigation is not designed to punish Sri Lanka. That international investigation is designed to shed light on what has happened and is happening in this country, and we believe that by shedding that light, by having an honest and open debate, this country can actually be strengthened in the long term.
The 56th Parliament of the United Kingdom, Mr. High Commissioner, will take office next year. Let me be precise on the date in which the elections will be held. The elections will be held on the 7th of May in 2015, that is next year. Are all these concerns directed, targeting the upcoming elections in Britain? We are well aware that campaigning has already begun in Britain.
No. We of course have individuals in the UK who are concerned about Sri Lanka. There's a large Sri Lankan diaspora in our country. But that diaspora is made up of people of Sinhala,
which amounts
Tamil,
to close to around 300,000.
Around 300,000. But that community is made up of people of different backgrounds, Sinhala, Tamil and Muslim.
And all could vote.
The United Kingdom and our ministers, the government, meets groups of different backgrounds from Sri Lanka and listens to their concerns. It also, of course, has meetings with the Sri Lankan High Commission in London and listens to their concerns. But ultimately, the decisions the United Kingdom government takes in international fora are those decisions of the British government. They are not the decisions of any other individual organisation.
Finally, Mr. High Commissioner, what is your message to the Sri Lankan government?
My message to the Sri Lankan government is, as Prime Minister David Cameron said, that this is a country of huge potential and huge promise. We recognise what has been achieved since the end of the conflict. No one should regret the end of LTTE terrorism. But we also believe there are serious issues that need to be addressed, and we hope that they will be addressed by the Sri Lankan government now and in the future.
Mr. High Commissioner, thank you very much for joining us, despite a demanding schedule right here on Newsfirst. Thank you. Nice having you. Mr. John Ranking took up his appointment as the British High Commissioner to Sri Lanka on the 14th of February 2011. Prior to coming to Sri Lanka, Mr. Ranking was Director Americas in the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, responsible for a network of over 30 British embassies, high commissions and other posts in North, Central and South America and the Caribbean. He joined the Foreign and Commonwealth Office in 1988 as a legal advisor and served in that capacity at the UK mission to the UN and to the UK mission to the Conference of Disarmament in Geneva. He has also served as Deputy Head of Mission at the British Embassy in Dublin, working on the Northern Ireland peace process, and was Her Majesty's Consular General in Boston. John has a degree in Scots law from the University of Glasgow and a master's degree in international law from McGill University, Montreal. Prior to joining the FCO, he qualified and practiced as a solicitor in Scotland. He is married to Leslie and has 3 children.